Hello and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Today we're going to do another one of my Christmas card challenges. Don't know what day I'm on, but anyway, because I do get the odd one done up front. But what we're going to be doing is, these are one of my most absolute favourite dies. I've had them a few years. They're little penguins. I don't know how well you can see them, but they're quite cute. But if I show you to start with, this is what they look like. All you do, I mean, I've done these already, you cut out your baseline, whatever baseline you want, and then you build up like his flappy little arms, his scarf. Use all your little scraps up, these little orange feet. And so then you build up. They obviously just go through as dies, so you can just do them, you know, the one colour. So like if this was, hang on, they look like they're nearly all the same one. Here's one. Really quite cute, and you could just colour them, you know, you don't have to do what I've done on these. But if you then paper piece them up, they can be really cute. So this is what I'm working with today, but I've already got them ready, okay? Because I like, as much as I'm trying to sort of encourage you to craft, I hope you enjoy what I'm showing you, what I'm making up, and you can do something similar. But where I'm doing penguins, if you've not got penguins, use something else. But first of all as well, we just need a scrappy piece of paper. And what I want you to draw is an ice cube. I'm no great drawer, so just say it's like that. That's probably an ice cube, more or less. I might just then, hold on, rub it out a bit so it's not too obvious marks, lines. So you've got the general gist of what we're doing. So, right. So now, what I would do is put my embossing pad on that. I did this a couple of ways. I actually, when I did some earlier, I did a couple of these by using the glossy accents, but that's quite thick. It's very shiny, but that didn't really work. I'll show you how that turned out in the end, but if I show you, so this is just an embossing pad with your embossing powder on. I don't know whether that looked like an ice cube or not, but you know, make whatever shape you want. Then with this, pop this on there. Then with the magic gun, the heat gun, we're literally just making that you see it starting to shine quite beautifully. Now if you want to, I've done it on some of mine where I've then built it up a bit more. You could, you know, if that was now a smaller cut, you could just literally stick your, you know, like in there. And we're now going to tip everywhere and make a mess, isn't it? As much as I try and keep it in a box, I always keep it in a bit of it always ends up being a mess. So you can build up your layers a little bit so it'll give it much more of a sheen and give it a sort of a bit of sort of substance as well. So there we go. Right, that'll now need to dry. But like always, some I did earlier. This is the one, remember I just now said about the glossy accents. I did it with that. It is impressive, but that sort of did generally took quite a while to dry. When I say a while to dry, maybe overnight, but it is impressive. But so you could do it with that, just glossy accents, which is fine. But if not, if you do it with the embossing powder, here's a couple I done earlier. I think there's a few layers on there. So I've got a choice to go through. I'll just put them out of the way for now. Just put them, I like to keep things all where I keep them, because if not I lose track of what I'm doing. So now the card size we're going to do again is that typical, I think it's A5 size, isn't it? I tend to do that, or I tend to do my square ones where it's got the textured or non-textured card. So there we have. And so what I've cut some card that's more or less the same size. So what we're going to do on this, scissors, I'm going to cut this as if it's maybe a bit of a landscape, whether it be hills, I don't know, whatever. Okay, whatever. If that's then going on your card, it could potentially be sort of like that. Okay, so that will be the sky, and this will be potentially This was the end of the land, or the sea in the case is what I'm now doing. So now with a pen, remember we're going to have this on here to be like a floating iceberg. Yeah, so that can be any of these sizes. To be fair, that one's probably too big, that one fairly too big. Oh, I suppose not too big. Yeah, let's maybe just do this one. So let's just cut. Obviously you cut it down, haven't you? Because although I've done this, you don't have to have that. Let's cut it down a bit, because it doesn't have to be as big as what I'm doing. There we go. Bit of an ice cube. So now, if this is maybe my bit of land there at the back, and then the sea is going to be to here. So what I've got here, this is a Versamark, which is basically this make, but it's like the embossing powder in a, sorry, embossing stamp pad in a stick. And you've literally got a thick end and a fine-tuned end. So what I'm going to do, remember you're going to be having that there more or less, so you don't have to do it all over the place. But I'm just putting some, maybe as if, they're little waves. All right, I don't know how good this is going to turn out. Remove that out. Now back to your embossing powder. Oh, always spills where I don't want it. Right. Okay, over there, lid over there. You aren't going to be able to see this very well, I don't think. But what you will see very shortly in a minute or two, okay, like I say, you probably can't see that very well. But now, what we're going to do, I'm going to use a bit of my scrappy paper at the back there. So it's all a bit white on white on white. Now with this Distressed Salty Ocean, I'm going to use one of these, which is just these brushes. Load this up a bit. Always get rid of the excess somewhere, so you know what, if it's too much. Not a bad oceany colour. Now we're just going to if you want to, you don't have to put it behind where the iceberg's going to go, but if you want to, feel free. Okay, I wanted it to be this, so it's sort of not ever so subtle where the sort of little waves are. We could go over it in a darker colour as well. If I, yeah, it's fairly oceany. All right. I think so. I might just do it. This is a little bit of a baby white, just to sort of put some marks in it as well. Just give it a little bit of texture. Okay, so that's our sea with the odd sort of ripple. Although I was thinking probably might not have that much. We want this to then dry, so I might just quickly blast that a little bit. Right, now, just make sure your hands have not got any of this rubbish. That sort of fits there fairly lovely. With the back there, to make it sort of look a little bit like, I don't know whether you'd have sort of like your landmarks in the back there. and this would be, there's a bit of sort of where you have the blue sky. Let's just put a little bit there. I don't want much of a colour. I just want to sort of, so you know, as the sea meets the sky. Not too bad. Just use the rest of that. Now I'm going to, do you know what I think, for easiness, for now showing you, I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the back. Got a few dies. I've got little clouds. You could sort of cut out a few clouds and raise that up a bit. It's always about getting this. Once you've got it, you're laughing. It's just getting it. I tend to leave the two outsides partly pulled off because it allows you to position so you don't get it wrong. Okay, so they're literally like that. Don't be that I've got any blue on me because that will ruin the card. It's probably still coming off the front a bit. So that's to look a little bit like the sea and waves. You could raise it up if you wanted to, where, you know, my foam. Let's just put something on there. Oh, slightly gone to the side, hasn't it? Don't know if it's going to let me. Ooh, this double-sided tape is impressive. So once it's down, if I cut that just a bit bigger, I'm going to have very blue hands on this now. Let's have a look. Doesn't matter if it's not totally there. Well, that's done beautifully. Now, I don't know which one to use, whether to use that one. I mean, that is impressive, actually, that one. So I might be tempted to use that because it looks like as if it's sort of floating along, all right? Like I say, this is the one, as I said, is with the glossy accents. You know, you can build it up, and it is impressive for looking sort of ice cubey glassy. And that's a bit more, yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter which one I use, but I think actually I'm going to use the glossy accent one. So now with that, I'll be popping that on with a bit of my super duper raised foam. I might leave that for a minute before I put it on there to make sure I know where I want to go. I think I'm going to have this little chappy. I was going to put a couple on, but then I thought, oh, actually, if he's like whizzing along there, looks quite good. So I shan't quite fix him down yet because I thought to then use my Merry Christmas. I just printed out, just again, I think this was in a magazine, you know, you sort of get, that's a different one to be fair, but the Merry Christmases, and so I've got a few different ones, but I quite like that with the little holly, which I could have changed colour. So what I'm going to do with this is sometimes when I cut these down, I cut them down so much you just think they're hardly recognisable as what you want. But anyway, so I thought maybe to make it look like a little bit drifty wood or something. So I've got that there. Then with a bit of old cardboard or something you've got, I thought some little can't exactly have it stuck in the water, but we could have it. Just want to make sure he's he's sort of central, but then it'd be quite nice to sort of have something like that. What do you reckon? So I was thinking about tucking it behind, but I think now, I hope it will stick on there. It might not. So I might just do it so it, because this is so shiny, that might not necessarily stick beautifully like that. So I might not chance my arm with it, and then need a bit of sticky to put that to that. Right, a little bit of double-sided tape. Then that to make it look as if it's tapered. Nothing too much. Now, if I make it just a little bit of the wrong angle, but hopefully that's okay. Then we're going to pop this on there. Right, another bit of my sticky back. I suppose I should have probably made some sort of ingrove in there, so as if he's whizzing off there. Maybe we could have another one where he plop into the sea. But anyway, I'll put this on the back. Just a little tip, if you well, then to sort of make the eyes in there properly, although they've now got like that at the back to glow, but by putting a bit of tape like that on the back, if you're then pushing things like the eyes in, that will hold them in the right place, won't it? So now, just want, before I stick it, because like I say, this stuff takes no prisoners. There we go. What do you reckon? I don't think anything else needs time. I might just put a bit more glue under there, because it looks like it's rising. It's because I put the tape on and then I peeled it off again. So hold that down, and probably in fact that's a little bit raised there is absolutely fine. So there we have, I was going to just put a little bit of colour on there, but you know what, I think that's enough. So hope you like, leave me a comment if you do, and till tomorrow. Merry Christmas from the Penguins. Thank you.